You're listening to the Craig Proctor Real Estate Show. Each week, I'm going to be interviewing top realtors from coast to coast to give you a backstage pass on how they've created their amazing real estate empires and how you can copy them. Hi, everyone. This is real estate coach Craig Proctor, and welcome to the Craig Proctor Real Estate Show. Today, my special guest is longtime Craig Proctor member, Nancy Kowalik from New Jersey. Nancy, thank you so much for being with us here today.
Well, thanks for inviting me. I love coming on your show. Appreciate it.
Nancy, you've done such an awesome job. You've been a longtime member. Let's just quickly go through your backstory, and we'll get right into what we're going to talk about today, how you've overcome all obstacles, you've become extremely successful, and there's an opportunity for everyone here to learn a lot today. And if you're operating in Nancy's area, we'll talk about the potential of even partnering up with Nancy. So Nancy, let's start from the very beginning. Where did you meet Craig Proctor?
So I met Craig Proctor after I had been in the business for about 4 years, had gone through, some highs and lows starting in at the end of 2006 when everything was falling off a cliff at 2008. And I found myself, unfortunately, getting divorced. So working at a Century 21 office where the standard split was 50-50 and you bought your own signs, you did your own marketing, you did your own thing till you climb up the ladder to, 60% or something like that. And you're still doing it all yourself. And I went from, making an okay living to one summer, working the entire summer for free. You've heard me talk about this, but it was devastating. All 6 deals evaporated because of what was going on in the economy. And I had no money and no means to support myself and my kids. And I looked around, panicked, and I did my research. I looked at a lot of different coaches. You kept coming back to the surface.
Well, I appreciate that. And you must be enjoying it because you're still here all these years later.
Still here.
And we obviously have enjoyed watching your success, and you've been so important to the Craig Proctor community. Let's talk a little bit about the agents that you've met inside of Craig Proctor and how they've also helped your business.
Oh my goodness. So, when you're in this marketplace or in your local marketplace, there's a lot of people operating in that scarcity mindset. And so and when you start to be good at what you do, your friends evaporate. I'm just going to say that it became kind of interesting. But going to these conferences and meeting up with people that are doing what you're doing in their marketplace, they're unafraid. They're doing things, I've met up with Nathan. I've been to Nathan Clark's. He hosted me for a couple of days, and I went through all of his departments and sat down and talked to everybody and came away with some amazing things that helped progress my business, move it forward. Recently, I was out at Shelly Salas's place in Texas for a boot camp with Todd Walters, but then I went early and Shelly was kind enough to open up her office to me and the departments. And I came back with some amazing things, again, to move the office forward. It's a consistent thing. Tracy King is next on my bucket list to make sure in perfect trifecta for me, because they're doing where I want to go next. I'm looking and targeting people that the next level that I want to get to. And then everybody else around the community is so supportive around the country. We share all the time. You make real, genuine friendships with people that you can talk about more than just real estate. Although we do spend a lot of time talking about real estate.
Yeah, it's these people have become your friends and your mentors, and real estate's a difficult business to do it on your own. And like you mentioned a few minutes ago, when you start to become really successful, you do find out who your friends are. There's a lot of people that aren't as excited about your success sometimes, and it can be lonely. So let's talk about some of the biggest challenges you're having right now in the current marketplace and how you're addressing those challenges.
Sure. So the 2 biggest challenges are lack of inventory, which everybody's experiencing, and lack of determined agents. So lack of inventory in the sales market, in the sales field as well. Going to and being a member of Craig Proctor, we talk about these things, and you guys are at the forefront saying, hey, here's some ideas, here's some things we're testing, and we all share those results to get to the front of the line quicker. So I've adopted several techniques that have changed the dynamic within my office, because my agents are all going, how do we find this off-market inventory? The standard ways aren't working. And so, you've mentored us through, and TW has mentored us through finding that inventory, which there is a secret sauce to it. And it has been game changer for us. I love it. So that's one. And then the other part is really finding enough agents. So just before I came on this call, we booked another appointment, a listing and a buyer today at 4 o'clock, when, I'm practically begging my agents to take another appointment because they're maxed out, because they're taking so many appointments. It's a great problem to have. But the lack of people that really are motivated to make a difference in their clients' lives is a challenge to find as well. Not everybody can do this job. Not everybody can work and be at that level. And I just want the best of the best, and I'll take you next level.
So if I'm an agent in your marketplace, why would I partner up with you? I mean, every brokerage promises, they're the best place to be at. Does it really matter what brokerage I hang my license at? What would you say to an agent that inquires and says, hey, why partner up with you versus whatever I'm doing right now?
Yeah, that's a great question. So if your broker is teaching you weekly about how to level yourself up, if your broker is giving you appointments, not leads, mind you, there's a huge difference in leads versus appointments. If your broker is not giving you appointments, if your broker is not basically there to answer your questions, because my clients, my biggest clients are my agents. They know they have myself as a resource. We have a whole leadership team. They have 2 other people, George and Lisa, that they can talk to really at all hours of the day. I mean, I try and turn my phone off at a certain point, but if I know there's something ongoing and an issue and it's going to run late, I'm there if they give me a heads up, and we're talking until 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. I've had to do that a few times recently to walk people through that they're not alone. I sit down. I was just sitting down with someone this morning who's been in the business for 9 years. 9 years. And he said that his broker's not spent as much time as we've already spent with him this morning, which to me was a shock. And he came in looking very handsome in a 3-piece suit, flower, pocket square. This gentleman is turned out, and he's got the effort there. He's really there, but he's not around people that are giving him the same effort. And to me, that's a shame. So, if you come here, we're going to give you that effort. You're going to tell us what your goals are. That becomes part of the goals of the brokerage, and we're going to get you there as long as you do what we are teaching you. And if you have challenges and concerns, you bring them to us, right? Because we're not mind readers, right? So
why do you think it's harder to find motivated realtors that are serious about their career? Why does it seem to be harder to find those, like a needle in a haystack?
It kind of is. So my theory is this. So a lot of people, rarely do you hear real estate agents say, this is what I wanted to be when I grow up. So a lot of people come into this in a way that's a little bit different. And so, for me, this is a third career, right? I didn't grow up saying I wanted to be a real estate agent. I was in marketing before that and in other things before that. So, and I think that's the same for a lot of people. People get into this and say, I'm done with this career, or I've been let go from here. Let me take that opportunity. And some of them really do have that idea that you can make a few phone calls, put your feet up on the desk, go out and negotiate over lunch and make $1 million. And that's not how it works, right? So you have to have an amazing work ethic. If you have an amazing work ethic,
we can thank reality TV for that,
yes.
Right?
Yes, we can.
Like you look at $1 million listing, and they're driving around in Ferraris and Lamborghinis. Yep. And they're going out to lunches, and they're hanging around, and everybody's having a great time networking and socializing. And I think for some of the newer agents that get into the business, they sort of think it's like that. And then we have agents that have been around for a long, long time that are locked into the way they were taught to do it. And when you're taught to do it a certain way, and especially if you've been doing it that way for a long time, it becomes ingrained. But the way you go about your business, lead generation, marketing, position your marketplace, is completely different than anybody else, and causes buyers and sellers to call you to do business to such a degree that you personally couldn't go out on all the appointments. And I know that may seem hard to believe for some of you watching this, that you could actually become so great at marketing and positioning yourself that you couldn't physically go out on the appointments. And Nancy, we tried. I mean, in the beginning, both Nancy and I, we did not have any money, and we wanted to make money, and we were extremely motivated. So we know what it's like to work 10 hours a day, 7 days a week. The problem with that, two problems. Number one, Nancy and I found that it's not sustainable working those types of hours every single week. And you don't want to burn yourself out. And you're not doing a great job for your clients if you're burnt out, for sure. Number two is when you are working 7 days a week, you can't make 8 days or 9 days. So it's not scalable.
Right.
And so, Nancy, when you came to me, the first thing that I helped you do is become a super efficient, super successful solo agent. And Nancy became very, very good at wearing all the different hats and being extremely competent, good at all the different parts of real estate. I think that's very important when you're growing out your team. The fact that you can lead by doing. You've done it all before. You're not asking anyone in your team to do things that you haven't done before. And a big element is the coaching and mentoring that you provide to your team members, coming from someone that's actually been in the trenches doing every single part of this. But the huge thing I want everyone to understand about the way Nancy has her business set up is if you were to partner up with Nancy. Now, some of you watching this are not in her marketplace, and she'll tell you what market she serves here in a minute. But think about this. Nancy has this set up that if you're an agent on her teams, you're partnered up, we consider you a partner, you would decide when you want to open your day timer and when you don't want to open your day timer within reason. Obviously, Nancy wouldn't be interested in somebody that wants to open their day timer 2 hours a day or whatever. But we want you to have a life. So let's say that you didn't want to work, I don't know, Thursday evenings or Saturday mornings. You just block that out. But if you're open, this is what's as a warning. If your day timer is open, Nancy's going to fill it. That's her job of her team is to fill your day timer with not leads. Please understand, this is not about leads. You don't need Nancy for leads. You can go buy them on Zillow, and we all know how that goes. Number one, they don't answer the phone. Number two, why are you calling me? This is not about leads. Okay, this is about giving you appointments. So Nancy's the marketing expert. She does all the marketing, pays for all the marketing, and then the leads are sifted and sorted by inside sales agents. And some sellers just call into the office, say, come and get me, I'm ready to list. So those listing appointments, just imagine those listing appointments are on your day timer. And you go from listing appointment to listing appointment to listing appointment. Now, Nancy spends enormous amount of time making sure when you go out on those listing appointments that you're doing it just like she would do it, the way I would do it. There is, I think we can all agree, probably a best way to go about doing a listing presentation or a buyer presentation or pretty much anything in real estate. There's a best way. So Nancy pays for all the marketing. She does an extremely, a lot of training to make sure that when you go out and you meet with the buyers and sellers, that we are getting the best result. Okay, so you go out there, you get the listing signed, okay, based on the presentation and the marketing that Nancy does. Everything is, all the admin stuff is done for you at this point. So it's broker loaded, the for sale sign goes on, the pictures are taken, the keys are cut, the key box is installed. We call the customers. How much money could you make? Here's the question. How much money could you make if that's all you did all day long was show up to listing appointment after listing appointment after listing appointment? You would be a listing specialist. Now, I think we would agree, if you were doing that all day long, you'd become pretty good at it. You know, if I was to do anything all day long over and over and over again, and it's that repetition and that constant coaching where Nancy helps you become an expert at this. So what happens is you become so good as an extension of Nancy that the clients are buying into the system. So they don't need to see Nancy because they're seeing you, and you're giving the same experience that Nancy would provide if she was there in person. Now, what happens is you net more money in your pocket and you actually work less hours. Now, here's what you'd have to give up. If you've got like a massively huge ego and you're like, oh, well, I'd rather make less money and work harder, but have my picture on things. Yeah, this is probably not for you, right? But if you got into real estate because you actually wanted more freedom, which means I want to make more money and I'd like to have some time to have a life, then this is a great opportunity. Now, we're going to talk about where Nancy operates, okay, where she's expanding. And there is no limit to where Nancy can open her business, because it is a business. Okay, this is not, a solo agent. No, it's not like this. This is a business that's scalable. Nancy can take this wherever she wants to go. She can grow it as big or small as she wants, but she needs good people. So number one, you got to be willing to work. Okay. As these words are coming in my mouth, Nancy, I'm always afraid that I'm making it sound so easy, like that we would have the wrong type of people that are just looking for something that's easy. No, you're going to work hard, but you're going to work efficient, and you have to be skilled at sales. Okay. I did a training a couple of weeks ago about the number one reason that real estate agents fail. And I'd say the number one reason agents fail is they're not salespeople. I mean, so many people, Nancy, you and I have met over the years. We can tell in short order that, they might be a good accountant, or they might be a good engineer, or but you have to be good with people. You have to be a good communicator. You have to, whatever you're selling, you need to be a good salesperson to do this. However, saying that, realize there are gazillions of really good sales agents, good realtors, that are starving to death all over the country. They have what it takes, but can we all agree you could be the best real estate salesperson in the world, but if you have no one to sell to, you will starve to death. So that's who we're talking to today, is those of you that are skilled. You know that when you're in front of a buyer that wants to buy or a seller that wants to sell, you know what to do. You're good at it. You're motivated. Okay. You really care about your clients. The analogy, you've heard me say this before lots of times, is Nancy is the baseball player that can hit the ball out of the park, who says, just get me up to bat. You don't get any bats. Doesn't matter how good a baseball player, you can hit that ball out of the park. So this is what we're looking for. We're looking for talent. We're looking for draft picks. Now, as I grew out my team, I had agents that would never leave me. I had agents work for me 12 years, 15 years to the end of my career. And the reason that is I made it a really good place to work. It was, they were good to me. I was good to them. But at the end of the day, they made more money net in their pocket working for Craig Proctor than they would on their own. So what if that was true for you? See, what this comes down to, if you want to be really successful in real estate, is you got two choices here. You either start your own super profitable real estate brokerage or team like Nancy did, which requires determination, years of training, hundreds of thousands of dollars investing in marketing and education, right? Or you can partner up with Nancy. Like Nancy's already built it. She's already invested the 10 years, the millions of dollars. You can partner up and make a really good living inside of Nancy's operation. So Nancy, what areas do you service?
Sure. So we cover from really in South Jersey, from Trenton south. I mean, so Gloucester County, Camden County, Burlington County. We're in Salem County and a bit into Cumberland County as well. So, we've expanded. I always, Gloucester County was the center of our world, and we kept getting pulled out further and further. We actually do a good deal of business down the shore now as well. So that's a whole other area and different MLSs. We belong to, I think, 6 MLSs because we've expanded our coverage here in New Jersey. Also, I have a team in Florida, in the Orlando area, more specifically a Kowalik. So because, last year I had the ability to be in Florida for 3 weeks and then be in New Jersey for 3 weeks because the team supported my main office here at home while I was off building another team. So, so I have 2 areas that I service currently.
So I think everyone would agree. Obviously, it is a business because it's working in multiple locations, and it doesn't rely on Nancy physically being there for this to work. So for you rainmakers that would like to do what Nancy is doing, and you're not in one of her market areas, you should contact me and we could have a conversation about how Nancy started with this and how all of these other millionaire realtors found Craig Proctor. Some of them, as you know, Nancy, were not doing well when they met me. But did you notice this though? The agents that were struggling the most when they met me, agents that were having really difficult times financially, have turned out to be the most successful.
They have. They've seen and they've had the pain, same as I did, coming and making $36,000 that year. It's not enough to survive. And now I don't have to worry about a meal. I don't have to, what I'm worrying about now is the legacy I'm creating and what else I can do for fun. So, and what else I can do to expand this footprint and change more lives. I mean, it's a different conversation now.
You know, it's almost like having those difficult financial times is like rocket fuel in a way to us, because even, isn't it, you notice, like, even after you're financially comfortable and you've got lots of money coming in, you never forget that point in your life. That kind of drove me on, that fear of, what am I going to do? When I first started in real estate, I was kind of down and out. If you recall, I dropped out of college, university. When I started in real estate, I'm in my mid-20s. I'm living home with my parents, and I'm like, this is getting serious, right? Like I need to figure life out. So that fear of, I don't know what you want to call that, desperation, I guess. I had no plan B. Like I had to make this work. So that hung with me, even after I made lots of money, and I shouldn't feel that way. I think with certain people that I've met, you, me, our friends in the organization, many of my superstars started off in really difficult positions financially, or had things going on in their life. So for those watching, I hope we're touching some of you and letting you know that it doesn't matter where you are right now. It's where you're determined to go.
It's true. It's 100% true.
And the great joy that I get is watching this happen. It's very fulfilling for me to be able to share what helped me in real estate, this process, these systems that I had to discover through my own necessity. And then, of course, realizing that they were duplicatable. I mean, was very cool when I realized that I could explain to another real estate agent what I did, you know, to go from a bad place to a really great place. And that when they did exactly what I started to do, that it was working just as well. And that's been our relationship, Nancy. It's like, and Nancy, every time you have an issue or a problem, it's kind of nice to know there's someone in the Craig Proctor world that's on the other side of the door of that problem.
Oh my gosh, we have group chats on social media, through texting, through email, where it's all right, who's got the solution for this? Here's a problem. How can you help? It's a consistent thing. And we're all constantly giving back because we know everybody's going to have answers for us when we're in that same position. It's an amazing group of people to be able to put your hands on immediately. So you're not alone and you're working towards solution instead of wallowing in, what do I do? I mean, that's insanity, right? It's a great group of people.
So Nancy, how much of our success is, I don't know, maybe when we were kids, we just didn't like being told what to do. Right? We don't like rules. We don't like people saying you can't do that. I mean, if we look at what's happening right now with the MLS and real estate associations, and really this conformity, and they want everyone to be the same. And so we push hard against industry norms and standards. And the further we push away from the traditional way of doing things, the more money we make and the better job we do of serving our clients.
Oh, yes. It's about serving the clients. The MLS really was designed so that everybody could have equal access. It really was about all agents having equal access, right? And so, you know, there's no other career that I know of that you could have your license for 2 weeks or 20 years and you get paid the same thing because the MLS says you can't pay someone based on their amount of tenure. I'm like, that's insanity. By the way, if you put the home in the MLS, now you're just a homogenized front of a home. You're just scrolling through the one home after another. How are you helping your client there? Not even a little bit. So, and agree to pay the competition half of what you're making. That's the norm and standard. Let me give the defending person on the opposite side of the fence from my client, let me give them half of my money to fight with me. I mean, where does this make sense? So really the MLS was done to homogenize and make it accessible to dumb it down to the lowest common denominator so that everybody had access. And in my mind, that does not serve a seller at all. How does that serve a seller at all? And by the way, buyers, by the time buyers are looking in the MLS, they're looking at stale inventory. We all know that stuff, the good stuff, goes before every home I've bought in the past, I don't know how many years, has always been off the MLS. So it didn't even make it there. So, you know, and let's face it, we as realtors, we have that access if we're doing it the right way. And so we share that. And that's not something that this industry focuses on. They want it to be fair, but who's being fair to the client? Who's being fair to that seller? That's what I focus my business on. And that's why we do so much business, because we focus on the client.
Yeah, you know, today, like you mentioned, we have a massive shortage of inventory. So what we're offering buyers is we're offering buyers that we're not going to just be limited to what's on MLS. And the buyer already knows what's on MLS is generally either sold or it feels like it's overpriced. They feel like they're dealing with leftover, picked over listings.
Absolutely.
And so when we ask the buyer what they are truly looking for, we don't have to rely just on the MLS. We can go directly to that neighborhood, that part of town. We can market directly to homeowners that haven't yet listed their home for sale, but are interested in potentially listing it. And it's especially attractive that they could sell their home without listing their house and going through all the traditional hoopla. That seems to be louder and louder among sellers today, where they would rather sell their house off market to avoid, 27 showings and virtual tours. And every time there's a showing, they got to get their dog and go out in the rain and sit around the corner and the buyer doesn't show up. So that's why there's iBuyer companies, right? Let's face it, the iBuyer opportunity for iBuyer companies is the fact that it's appealing to some homeowners that they can push a button, get an instant cash offer. Now, what we offer is something better than that, because we actually will guarantee the sale of a homeowner's home, a seller's house. We give them an upfront cash offer in writing. So there is some negotiating back and forth, because obviously we want to give the seller a fair offer, or, they wouldn't consider us. Of course, on the other hand, we don't want to offer to guarantee or to buy the home for more than what the property is worth. So our sellers get an upfront guarantee in writing, and then we market the property. And this is where what we do is superior than any iBuyer company, because with an iBuyer company, like, the price you accept is the price you accept. And if they sell it for more money, the iBuyer company keeps the more money. Not true with the Craig Proctor system. So we give you an upfront guarantee. We market the property, and in most cases, we're going to sell the property to an outside buyer for a superior offer than the guarantee, which the homeowner, our seller, gets that higher offer. But this guarantee allows our homeowner now, that's now a buyer, right? Because everybody that buys, who owns a home, is in a bit of a predicament, like, do I buy first or I sell first? So this helps move up buyers avoid the real estate catch-22. They see a house they like, they can buy it. We give them an upfront guarantee. Worst case, they know we're going to step in and buy it. Best case is we sell it for a higher amount to an outside buyer. And that means we're never buying the property. So in most cases, we're never actually having to close on it, because we're able to find a buyer that will pay more than the guarantee. This is one of the unique offers that Nancy makes to her clients. There's many guarantees. Like, the whole way we go about this is so entirely different that it would be easy for people that speak to you to say, well, you're in the real estate industry, but you've got a completely different approach to this, which is so attractive, not just to buyers and sellers, but to every one of you that takes a few minutes to talk to Nancy. You all should contact her. So you might have questions like this. Is this for real? Are you like Craig's sister-in-law? Is this, are you really, have you really been with Craig this long? Here's some questions you might ask. why are you still with Craig this long? Like what keeps you here? What about all the other agents that you've met with? Are they having similar experience? The other Craig Proctor members that you hang out with, are they having similar success? Or are you like one of a million? Okay. How would this work for me if I was to partner up with you? What are the things that you would provide me that no other brokerage in the area would provide me? And you'll find immediately you're going to get a very specific answer that makes sense to you, instead of what most brokerages, well, we're going to give you training. No, they're not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. They all say they're going to give you training. And if you do get any training, honestly, it's from the broker who usually was not very successful at sales, and that's why they're the broker. Right. Okay. So those that can do, and those that can are a broker, right? So, I mean, and if I'm offending any brokers here, I'm sure I apologize for that, but I'm just saying in most cases, I'll give you an example. My broker at Remax, very nice, very supportive, but she was never successful at selling real estate. So in the beginning, that's who I took my advice from, somebody that was never successful at doing the thing that I wanted to do. So everybody would benefit from having a mentor, a coach. What does the coach do? Okay, well, what does a coach do? Most people think, well, a coach is someone that's going to kick my ass, right? A coach is someone that's going to motivate me, and I don't know, they're going to yell at me to make phone calls, or they're going to keep me accountable. That's not really what we do here. And what Nancy's saying, really what Nancy's saying when she's trying to find the right people is she's trying to find agents that have, this inner desire to do better. We're not looking for people that we have to motivate or, sing songs to every day or lift them up. We're not, we're looking for those of you that are still watching this right now. Because if you're watching this right now, it's making sense to you. Okay. You shouldn't be running around trying to do all the different things, all the parts of real estate. Most of the time, let's be honest, you're an administrative person. You're not doing high dollar productive activities. Okay. It makes sense to you. You don't maybe know quite how to do this, but understand it's been all figured out for you. Right. Here's what you need. You need a system. Okay. Now, sure, I hope that, we keep you accountable and we motivate you, but that's where most coaching stops. It's about how many calls did you make, or somebody to kind of motivate you or keep you accountable. That's coaching at its very basic. Mm-hmm. What you need, folks, is a system to plug into. Now, we coach you on the system. So Nancy has the system. She is the franchise prototype, right? She's got the operating systems that she's worked on and perfected. Yeah. Now, you can do what Nancy did. It's going to take you a while to do what Nancy did. Okay. You can do that in your city. And you're going to call me if you're interested in doing that. You can book a call with me at proctorcall.com. So my name, proctorcall.com, no space, proctorcall.com. You go to my Acuity Daytimer and you'll say, you know what, I love what Nancy has to say, but I'm in another part of the country, so I can't really partner up. I mean, if you're in Florida, you could, but if you're in Nancy's area, you're going to talk to Nancy. You don't need to call Craig Proctor. She's already doing everything that I would tell you to do. You would have just such a massive advantage and head start by just setting your ego aside and remembering why you got into real estate. I want to make a lot of money. I want to have more time with my family. You will achieve that if you partner up with Nancy. Now, you have to pass the test. You have to call Nancy. She has to feel you're a good fit. Now, why does Nancy vet the agents she works with so heavily? Because she's going to spend a lot of time with you. Oh, yeah. Like I get other brokerages like, yeah, if you have a pulse, if you can fog a mirror, we'll hire you. There's no downside because they're not going to spend the countless hours training you. So Nancy's going to vet you a little bit to make sure you've got what it takes. But if she hires you, you're pretty much guaranteed to succeed. because she knows what she's doing. She's not just, new at this. She's very, very experienced at creating superstars on her team. The goal would be for you to make way more money as part of Nancy's team, net in your pocket, than you would working by yourself. That's the way this needs to work. And that's the way it will work if you're the right person and you follow the system. Years and years of recruiting agents. Sometimes I knew in the first 5 minutes, Nancy, that I was talking to an agent that was more concerned about their ego than their income.
Oh yeah, have a lot of those conversations.
Yeah, I remember talking to a guy from Remax, and he was interested in joining my team, but kind of not interested. And so I started asking him a bunch of questions, and I said, let's go right back to the basics. Why did you get into real estate? Well, I want to make money and I want to spend more time with my family. Well, I found out he was recently divorced and he's not seeing his children, and he's working 70 hours a week. And I said, like, what's this all for? Like, how much money are you making? Like, that's a bad trade, trading your whole life for your income. I hope you're making a lot of money, right? He said, well, I'm only making about $100,000. But when I drilled in deeper, the $100,000 was his gross commission income, the total income. And I said, well, what about net in your pocket? And he thought about that and he was kind of embarrassed. And I said, well, what are your expenses to make the $100,000? Well, I spend, money advertising and marketing, and I have an assistant, a part-time assistant. And so really, to answer your question, Craig, I net about $60,000. So you're working 70 hours a week. It's cost you your marriage. You're feeling bad about things. You're really making $60,000 a year. If you join my team, I promise you, if you're the right person, you will make at least 4 times that. That's $240,000 a year, and that will be net in your pocket.
Yes.
Well, he was a bit skeptical about that. And I said, well, look, why don't we do this? Are you open-minded enough to at least meet with me? Let's have a meeting and we'll talk it through. Well, the first thing he said to me is, actually, you're really a nice person. I heard all these, I heard you were the devil from the other, you're actually pretty nice. So what I did is I happened to have 3 listing appointments that night, and I took him out on all 3, and I got all 3 listing appointments at the full commission at good prices. I was in competition with other realtors on all these appointments, and he was convinced because what he saw, what I demonstrated that evening, was I had a system. He said, you say the same things in the same order to get the same result. And he noticed that the clients were listing with me because of this system, not necessarily because of Craig Proctor. That some of the other agents I was up against were top agents in that area, sold a lot more homes in those particular areas than I did. But the sellers wanted this system. They cared more about this system than Craig Proctor. And I said, and this is why it's duplicatable. This is why it's going to work for you. Well, long story short, he joins up with me. Within the first year, he made $250,000, and he was with me for 12 years. Now, every time I had an agent like that, a superstar that I had created, it was easier for me to get the next superstar and the next superstar. And so what you build is you build a great culture of superstar agents that will stay with you for a long, long time. And so you're part of something that's bigger than you. So again, I'm going to call it to everybody watching this. I want you to understand the opportunity here. In the future, going forward, if you do want to be super profitable, if you want to have your cake and eat it too, you're either going to join a super profitable sales team like Nancy's, or you're going to create your own. It's time to decide. Are you going to be a team leader and create your own team like Nancy did? Is that what you want to do? Or if you really want to have a great life in real estate, we're talking lots of money and lots of time, you partner up with one of my brokerages all over the country. And we have Craig Proctor brokerages all over the United States and Canada. So Nancy, give us your contact information. What would be the best way for realtors to reach out to you to just have a conversation or just have you in their contacts as somebody that they should consider at least having a little conversation with before they go further in their real estate career.
Sure. Well, as you know, it's confidential conversation. So I'm going to give you my cell number, and that's 856-371-8608. So reach out to my cell. I'm the only person that's going to hear that call. We can have a very honest conversation. Ask me your questions, hit me up. We know skepticism is a very big trend. So I get that there's a lot of people that don't believe it. I have agents talking to my agents that are actually doing it, living social proof of the difference in lifestyle, the difference in income. And so give me a call, and you can reach out to me at nancy@nancykowalik.com as well. But the phone call is simple, and those questions can be answered quickly.
You know, all good things start with a conversation. That's how Nancy met me. We started with a conversation. Don't let your skepticism get in the way. I promise you, this is real. I've been doing this for 30 years. I've built relationships with millionaire. I've created more millionaire agents than any other coach or trainer out there. I know it sounds too good to be true. I understand that. And, you know, we're trying to do a good job of breaking it down here today. What's the old saying? If everyone understood you and everyone believed you, everyone would be their customers. So sure. Nothing beats talking to some of our members. Okay. Have a conversation with them, get your questions answered. Do not pass an opportunity by to investigate this opportunity. Okay. Truly, there's lots of money to be made. There's lots of room for successful agents. And again, this is not a magic pill. If you know, if you're not a worker, if you need constant motivating, if you're not really great at sales, it's not for you. Right. Okay. I know other brokerages will promise that they can make a superstar to anybody, but you've got to have a sales and marketing. You got to have sales and marketing strengths here for this opportunity, and we will mold you, and we will work with you, and we will make you into a superstar, and have a long relationship, which is what we all want, right? We want to build a solid team that's there for each other and build a very good culture. So Nancy, I want to thank you so much for doing this today. I know you're going to have continued success. I enjoy watching this from my perspective, seeing what you're doing here, helping hundreds, really thousands of buyers and sellers over the year, and watching you grow, and now in multiple locations. And I want to thank you for always giving back to Craig Proctor Nation. You're always speaking at our events and coaching and giving advice, and always having time for Craig Proctor members. And so if you're not a Craig Proctor member, it's time to get at it. Either contact me. Again, you can book a call with me at proctorcall.com. We'll put our information below. We'll have them do that, Nancy. They'll put our information, Nancy's and my information below. So thanks everybody for watching this. And Nancy, thank you so much for doing this today.
It is my pleasure. Thank you, Craig.
Okay, we'll talk to everybody soon. Thank you for watching the Craig Proctor Real Estate Show. Take care.
Make it a great day.
Hi, this is Craig Proctor. Hey, I really hope you enjoyed that video. And listen, I've got a lot more information for you to help you grow your real estate business. You see, several times a week, I record new videos and I load them onto this YouTube channel. What I'd like you to do, if you'd like to access them, are two important things, and both are totally free. Number one is I'd like you to subscribe to this channel. You're gonna see a little subscribe button for you to click on. And if you don't already have an account with YouTube, it's free for you to set it up. It's really easy, it's free, but you've got to subscribe to this channel. And the most important thing is to ring the little bell right next to the subscribe button. And that's gonna let you know every time I load new money-making videos to help you grow your real estate business. So make sure you subscribe right now, you ring the little bell, and we'll see you on the next video.